All right, a couple of minutes after the top of the hour here at the KFYR Plus News Desk. Let's go ahead and bring in our good friend, John Saylor, everybody. It's Tax Tip Tuesday with John from Total Tax Solutions, and today we are talking about no tax on overtime. John, welcome back to the news desk, my friend.
Hey, Jay, it's good to see you again. You looking good?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You as well. But this is going to be a very popular deduction for many filers this tax season, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be. There's so many questions. There's a lot of discrepancies. Like, hey, I'm not getting taxed on my overtime and this and that and everything, and I'm scot free on overtime. And yeah, there's a lot of questions as far as what's going on. I can't be. I got to be totally transparent and honest. I can't answer all the questions because I think there's still some things changing. But
Sure.
yeah, let's just jump right into it. What do we need to do? And everything for the new year.
Yeah, let's jump into what exactly qualifies as, well, qualified overtime compensation under this provision.
So the qualified overtime what's going to classify you and be able to deduct, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
is anything that's over 40 hours a week and considered time and a half. Okay, a lot of
Okay.
people think that, oh, okay, I work 20 hours of overtime at time and a half, that's not going to be taxed. That's not true. The one time is going to is still taxable. It's that half time that is non-taxable. Now, there again, how are we classifying that? How are we watching that? This and that. Unfortunately, the IRS hasn't made it mandatory for 2025 to put it on a W-2 that half time that's non-deductible.
Hmm.
So what everybody's going to have to do is, and this is why we really need it put out there, is everybody needs to bring in their most recent pay stub, at the end of December, because that'll tell you how many hours of overtime there was, and then we figure out the rate, and then we put it into our software. Okay, this is the amount that's non-taxable, so that would be a deduction on their tax return. So the most important thing, Jay, is we got to have that either most recent pay stub at the end of the year or something from the employer stating this was the amount of overtime that was paid out.
Okay. Does this deduction apply to both W 2 employees and 1099 contractors?
Just the W-2 employees, because as a 1099 contractor, they shouldn't be getting overtime. They basically agree on a contract rate. It's paid out to the independent contractor, and then they pay their self-employment tax, all those different things. They limit themselves as far as the amount of hours and stuff they want. So no, it won't be on any independent contractor, just the W-2 employees.
Okay. There is a $12,500 cap or $25,000 joint. What happens if someone earns more?
A great question, because I just had a single guy come in and say, "Well, I'm going to have over $25,000. I can claim up to $25,000, right? Because it says per tax return. When it says per tax return, it's $12,500 per individual on that tax return. So
Okay.
if you have $13,000 of overtime and your spouse has 10,000, you guys are only going to get the 20 up to $25,000, $12,500 per person. So some of those families on that tax return are only going to see the $12,500 deduction because it's only per person on that tax return.
Okay. So per person meaning again, I worked a lot last year, John. I worked $30,000. Excuse me. I worked $25,000 in overtime. My gal, she doesn't work any. I don't know if she really works. She just shows up. But I'm only going to get the 12,500 then, aren't I? Because jointly, we're not going to get that together. Even though if we file jointly, I'm still not going to get my extra 12,500. It's just going to be 12,500 for me.
Yep, that's correct. And that's where it's going to be done, or it's going to be basically verified off that W-2 or that pay stub. A lot of W-2s, unless the payroll software has changed, and we've got payroll department now here with Total Tax Solutions, a lot of those payroll softwares are not going to distinguish how much of it was overtime. So that's where it really, really goes back to that pay stub, because that pay stub is going to, break out how much was holiday pay, how much was overtime pay, deductions for IRA, Roth, medical, all those different deductions. Well, we can go on there and we can pull out that number for the overtime and plug that into our software. If not, we're kind of guessing. And guessing's not a good thing when it comes to the IRS because they get those forms and they'll be able to see right away. This first year, I really truly think there's going to be some leniency because of the fact
Mm-hmm.
that IRS is not requiring the software companies to put it on their W-2. Where next year for 2026, it's a requirement that it's a separate box on the 2022 or a separate line item. I don't know how that's going to look for sure, but I just know that for 2026, it is going to be a requirement.
Okay, so we're coming up here on the last day or two of the year, and if you're getting a paycheck, your last paycheck of 2025, maybe you got it yesterday on Monday. I know I got one of them. I'm going to need to keep that. Otherwise, because if you're going to look at your W-2s, if you look at your W-2s, what should employees look for in their 2025 W-2s to claim this deduction? They can't really, right? Like you just said, they're just guessing.
Well, exactly. And so what could potentially happen is there again, I'm not 100% certain. I don't think any of the payroll companies are 100% certain. I'm just guessing that it's going to come across in box 12 as a code ZZ or something like that. And that code is
Okay.
going to trigger our software that, hey, yep, that's the overtime amount, and then you get up to $12,500. You know, there again, is that code going to take out the time and then only record half because of the time in the half? So only the half time is what's non-taxable. So there's
Okay.
still some things to be answered there. Where if the pay stub comes in, we're going to be able to see that they had X amount of hours and X amount of dollar, figured in there. So we'll be able to see the rate and kind of divide that out and everything. Like I said, this first year is going to be tricky, but if people want the deduction and want to take advantage of the deduction, they're really going to have to provide their provider with the pay stub.
John, is this deduction going to be taken above the line? How does it affect adjusted gross income and taxable income?
So yes, it's going to be above the line, and it's gonna change your adjusted gross income, and then you're going to get your deductions after that too, like your standard
Okay.
deduction, qualified business income deduction, and stuff. And then at the end of the day, that's where your total taxable income, income comes from, is that very last line, and then that's where they apply the tax to it, whatever effective tax rate that you're in. That's going to determine your tax. So it's not going to be a deduction below the line where like the child tax credit and those things are. It's going to be above the
Okay.
line.
Will employers need to provide a separate reporting for state purposes, or will the federal W-2 adjustment suffice?
So the states go off of the federal the W-2. So the states are going to look at basically the 1040 federal income tax return, and that's where
Mm-hmm.
like North Dakota, I can't speak for every state, but North Dakota just goes off of the taxable income, the adjusted gross income off of the federal tax return. So the state of North Dakota, I don't believe is requiring anything different from there. Because they just use the adjusted gross income taxable income from the 1040 federal form.
All right. Let's talk about this. Looking ahead, what practical steps should taxpayers and employers take now to prepare for this overtime deduction? And what's your best advice for avoiding surprises when filing in 2025 and beyond?
The biggest thing is getting with your employer and having them understand how their software or their payroll software is reporting it, talking to the human resource department saying, hey, how is this going to be calculated? The people that are on overtime, they should have been hopefully asking these questions. um, but like a lot of the people that are on overtime, just like us tax preparers, well, we've been waiting for bigger, better guidance, and it just really hasn't come out yet as far as how
Mm-hmm.
they're going to dictate, for sure to make sure we're getting the right number or not and stuff. So that's where, like I said, this first year, I would assume they're going to have some leniency on those. I hope it's not going to, generate a bunch of IRS letters, but really the employee is at a disadvantage because they're just not 100% sure how it's going to be, processed to them. Is
Sure.
okay, this is the amount that's you get the deduction on, this is, whatever. So unfortunately, it's going to be a learning curve for all of us. And there again, a lot of these changes are really good for the employee, the consumer, the client, whatever. Great. But with that comes some headaches as far as, okay, how exactly can I make sure I'm taking full advantage of this deduction?
John, I can tell that you are excited for tax season. Here it is, the second to last day of 2025, and we spin the calendar over on Thursday, and you are probably got all of your pencils sharpened, all of your little calculators with charged batteries on it. You've got you've got your Wolverine beard going. I mean, what is going on with you there? You're Wolverine.
Trying to stay warm. These long cold nights of working in the office. I got to keep the heat down, so I keep the expenses down, so I don't have to raise prices on tax returns. So I tend to grow that out, and then I'm trying to save money for the people like this Jay Dillon guy that doesn't pay for his tax return. I'm trying to save money so I can still make ends meet.
Hey, listen, Jay Dillon needs a raise so he can at least afford to pay his tax preparers. So
I couldn't agree more. You should let me come down and talk to your bosses. Well,
you
and then,
should, you should.
tell them that, hey, by you guys not paying Jay, he's not paying me, so you're really hurting me. No.
It's a domino effect. Well, Total
Yeah,
Tax Solutions, you are ready and willing. Give the folks watching what numbers, websites, and plus tell them just give them a little verse on. You've got your payroll now portion of Total Tax Solutions.
yeah. So we reached out to a gentleman that has a lot of experience and knowledge with the payroll system, and he's agreed to become a strategic partner of ours, and he's just been amazing. He knows a lot of the ins and outs. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So we decided, hey, why don't we partner up? And he's been great to work with. He explains this is how we're going to do things. Very, very a lot more inexpensive than the internet companies. So anybody on the internet companies are paying a lot more than what he would charge. Plus, you get the personal attention with Tyler. He's our payroll guy. He sits down, he explains it, goes through it, make sure that the employer understands, and then any of the employees that they understand too is, the questions as far as deductions, child support, those things. There's a lot that goes into payroll, and I'll be the first one to admit I don't even do my own payroll because it's confusing.
Hmm.
He's turned it into an art where he can really explain it to people where they understand it. So that's awesome. That's another service that Total Tax Solutions can now provide for any of the employers out there, and have all their services under one roof. Taxes and payroll. So, but yeah, you can. He works right out of our office and everything, so he's easy to get a hold of and work with.
Excellent. Okay, and let's give the folks an idea of when you're going to start firing up your pencils to start getting those taxes prepared for individuals after the first.
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. And just a reminder again this year for you, you don't have to wait till last minute to make your schedule or make your appointment. Our schedules on our website are open now. You go on and you pick your tax preparer. So you just simply go to www.totaltaxnd for North Dakota.com. Our website pops up. You can go to schedule an appointment. You can pick the tax preparer that you want to work with. If you want to work with me, Cody, Ivy, whoever it might be, and you can open up their calendar and you can actually just go on there, whatever dates and times are available, you pick, put your name in there, it sends you a reminder and everything. So you can get a confirmation and everything, so you can start scheduling appointments now, looking at your calendar. So yeah, that'll work. Or you can simply give us a call at 701-498-1829. Website's the best way to go. It's easy.
Yeah.
www.totaltaxnd.com. The scheduling there's forms are there, information's there. We're gonna have payroll information on there and stuff like that too. So pretty easy to get a hold of us.
Those viewers that are watching right now, you're going to want to act quickly because the spots to work with Wolverine here to get your taxes done, they fill up fast. Okay, so get
Yeah,
it on there with
they've,
the Wolverine.
there's been a lot of scheduled spots taken already, and we're not even into January and stuff. But that's good. I mean, these guys, then they can work around their schedule and stuff like that. I can't say for sure that the Wolverine is going to stick around because it's itchy. I don't like it. I
Yeah.
do it because my wife doesn't like it, so it keeps the spunkiness going.
Well, you're busy. You know, if you've got that, that beautiful face that you normally have, she'd be all over you and you wouldn't get your job done. So you got to do this for 4 months through April and, pay the bills. Otherwise, you guys would probably be in the poorhouse.
Yeah, it's a disease that you and I have. There's nothing you can do. You can't turn the charm on and off, for people like
It's
you and I.
impossible.
There's just no way to
It's
turn it on and
impossible.
off.
Absolutely, Johnny. Listen, you have yourself a happy New Year, sir, and I will catch up with you in 2026.
Sounds great. I can't wait. It's kind of terrible. I got to wait an entire year to hear from you, but oh well.
I know. Well, next year it'll go by quickly.
Sounds great. I love it, Jake.
Thanks, Johnny. We'll see you soon, buddy.
You bet. Talk to you later. Have a happy New Year. Be safe out there and stuff. Okay.
Thank you. You too. All right, 18 minutes past the hour here at the news desk, and that's going to wrap it up for me here on the KFYR Plus news desk here on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm back with you again Friday morning at 7 a.m. I hope you and yours have a happy and safe new year. I look forward to getting back with you in 2026, where we can bring you all of the latest news, weather, and sports and entertainment. Everything you need to know firsthand right here, live, local, and online at the KFYR Plus news desk. Have a great afternoon, everyone.